Tennessee picked up its fourth 2024 commit. This came Saturday evening, and it's an in-state athlete, defensive back by the name of Marcus Gorey from Bradley Central. Austin Price, tell us a little bit about the Bradley Central native, Marcus Gorey.
Long, athletic, and I think a really good player. Someone who Willie Martinez took a liking to at camp last summer, has been on hard ever since. Marcus really likes Tennessee. Marcus's family really likes Tennessee. And so it just made a lot of sense to go ahead and get that one done. Tennessee gets that one done. They're in a good spot with Evan Spillman. They're in a good spot with Boo Carter. Again, neither one of those kids are done, but at the same time, you kind of like where Tennessee stands as of, February 21st. So, for my liking, Tennessee's done a nice job with the in-state kids to this point. I don't feel like they're behind on anybody. I think that they're ahead on everybody. Doesn't mean you get them. Doesn't mean you get them all. But I think that Tennessee's done a good job of pinpointing, targeting the Boo Carters, the Evan Spillmans, Amari Jefferson. They're turning the heat up on Ronan OConnell, Kamaro Brown. You keep going right down the list of some of these in-state kids that Tennessee really likes, and you feel like, okay, Tennessee's going to probably land their fair share in state. Again, as I said on the board the other day when we talked about, when somebody brought up, there's 42 kids that sign with Power 5 schools. Yeah, okay. A kid signing with Indiana is not the same thing as a kid signing with Alabama, right? So, I mean, like, you have to kind of, pick your, kind of where you want to go. Ultimately, you got to go off your evaluations. And so you can't get locked up into, well, Alabama offered or Georgia offered, we got to offer. Like, if you're not in love with the kid, if you don't think he fits what you want and what you need, you've got to kind of go off what you see with your own eyes. And sometimes that may come back to bite you. Sometimes it's not. It's like I said the other day on the board. The strange kid from Farragut, he was not what he became at UTC when he left Farragut, which is why he didn't have anybody else that was going to take him. He couldn't have went to Georgia or Alabama or Auburn or LSU or Florida or Tennessee or Mississippi State or Ole Miss or South Carolina or anywhere else in the league. But he went and he worked hard and he made himself into a player that everybody was like, man, how did Tennessee miss on him? How did everybody miss on him? I mean, he's one of those kids that you see those every year. I mean, how did all those schools miss on Terrell Owens back in the day when he went to UTC? So, you're never going to be perfect in recruiting, but you still have to stick by your evaluations, and you can't get caught up in, well, so-and-so offered, so we need to offer. That's not how this should work. If that's how you're doing it, then to me, that's you're going to end up, falling into some traps and failing a little bit. Again, inevitably, there's going to be a kid or two that leaves the state that turns into a really good player, and you're going to go, man, how did we miss on that kid? That's going to happen. That happens to Georgia every year. That happens to Alabama every year. That happens to every school when you're talking about in-state kids. So I think Tennessee's done a really good job with this 24 crop. They'll continue to do.
Let me ask you this, Austin. Tennessee took 3 cornerbacks in the 23 class. Tennessee already has now 2 with Gorey, who they like him at corner. He can play a little bit of everything, but they like him at corner, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you got 2 here with Caleb Beasley and Gorey. Kamaro Brown's the name you just mentioned. They love him at corner. How many corners could be in this class realistically? And could they all 3 be from the state of Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean, they could. Tennessee may not have to go outside the state for secondary help in the 24 class. So, I think that's very realistic that they wouldn't have to. Boo Carter's obviously a guy that's on defense in the secondary. And so, Caleb, while he plays corner at Lipscomb, that doesn't mean he's necessarily going to play corner in college. Now, I think he'll get every chance to, but, he's a guy that could play safety. Marcus will start at corner, and we'll see what happens from there. But ultimately, I think for Tennessee, they shouldn't have to leave the state for secondary help in 24. Now, if you were to miss on one or a kid go elsewhere, obviously that changes kind of the thought process. But 2 in the boat right now, and a few more that they still are recruiting hard in state.
I was asked this on the board a couple of days ago, Austin. Dead period right now, but Tennessee's going to have that junior day 1st of March. Any big names that you know of right now they're going to be making their way in for that junior day?
It'll be a lot of the in-state kids. Ronan OConnell is supposed to be back in. There's going to be a core group of out-of-state kids, but then there's also going to be a core group that says, I don't care about the junior day. I'm going to come when spring practice starts. And so you might see that as well. The 4th may be a lighter day because kids, some kids want to come and they want to see a practice. They want to see how the coaches coach. They want to be able to, kind of be involved in that way versus coming, for the car wash, which is a junior day. Like you're just kind of run through, you're doing this, you're doing that, you do all these cool things, and it's fun and it's informative. But to kind of get a real grasp of, what it's like to play for said coach, you really need to come for a practice, which is something that Tennessee will push because they'd love to get the kids here, both the 4th and for spring practice. But more than anything, they'd love to get them here for a practice and let them be around the team, let them be around the players, and let them be around the facility when practice is going on.
And then the famous question, who, well, not necessarily who, but when could we see another one? Would it be in that month of March whenever you're getting kids back on campus? Probably quiet here for the rest of February and looking ahead to spring?
Yeah, I think that March is going to be the month. I think they'll probably go get 1 to 2 in March, and then I think April will probably be a few more after that. It's kind of just how things have lined up, in my opinion. But, I think you're going to see at least 1, if not 2, in the month of March. And then I think you'll start to see Tennessee continue to amp up the momentum.
Well, Tennessee's got 4 commits now for the class of 2024, and Jonathan Eccles still holding on to that tight end for right now, and Caleb Beasley, Marcus Gorey, and Carson Gentle. Tennessee, according to the On3 rankings, the national rank is 16th, SEC rank is 8th, but of course it's very, very early here in this 24 cycle. Hey, thanks so much for watching the video here at Volquest on YouTube, the leading source of University of Tennessee football, basketball, and recruiting. Be sure to check out our latest video right here and our latest live show right above it. All that at Volquest.com and Volquest on YouTube.